Hello, and welcome back to another video. I'm ZpprSprk, and you're watching my Barely Modded Factory Tech Let's Play series. Now, what I have here behind me is a different design for the things that I have over here. I set up a couple more, and it is to automate another metal cutting machine. So I was going to use this to make the metal or the copper wires in an effort to, provide the things I need for the motors here. And then I was going to do some of these here. So I didn't finish this one because I had some ideas. And then over here I was testing out my ideas. And then I had an even better idea. Poor zombie. I know, right? But yeah, so the way this works is, I don't know if I explained it earlier, but I'll explain it again and then explain how it's a little bit different over there. Then I'll talk about what, anyways, I might change it up so it's not needed anymore. So what this does is, a simple sorting system. It's the slightly extended version from Impulse SV. So you can have a full stack in here and it's not going to overflow something next to it. Now, we don't have anything next to it, so we don't really need it to be like this, but it is anyways. I'm not worried about it. So once there's enough in here to make a 3 power on the redstone here, it extends down here, and that's how the sorting system works. Well, I'll also step it up here, and then to power the block, and then I have a torch here, powers this block, a repeater, there's dust up there, and then the torch that turns off the pulse piston. So my idea was, well, I need to get this signal, which is only going to be power level 1, and I need to get it somehow over around to the pulse piston. Well, my idea was, well, if this is power level 1, this is power level 1, and maybe if I pull it from here, maybe I can get it to here a bit more cleanly. And so if I put a block here where the carpet is, it might be easier to snake around. So that's what I did over here. So I put the block here where the carpet would be. I did have to move the lamp a bit, mainly because this torch that was down here would power the block, and it would end up doing a pulse burnout timer thing, or clock, whatever. So I had it set it up over here. I honestly don't know. Well, this will turn on the lamp, but if I need the signal, I need the signal down here. So that's what these are over here. Is the torch here is putting the signal down so that when this is when this is low, it can send the signal that says, hey, I need more parts. So anyways, pulling it here, I only needed the one torch here and then a torch up there. Since I needed it essentially to be a repeater, I needed the 2 torches. But up here is just a simple line of redstone to here, and then this powers the block, which turns off the piston. So I can show you how it works. So right now it's locked. So if I do this, it should. Well, this will pull it in, but this won't. So it should be. Yeah. So the light is on. So it should want more dirt. So I throw it on there. Pulse piston kicks it over. And now we've got the 42, and this is just locking the hopper underneath so that it acts as if it's backed up all the way. And then it does that, and so then my next dirt I put on there goes right by, which is the exact same behavior I wanted. So I'm like, oh, sweet, I can rewire everything to be these ones since these are lower profile. They're not going to stick up so high. And that's kind of one thing that's been bugging me about these, is they're so high. But like this whole layer of blocks, so the highest that goes over here is this torch right here. So this layer here is where the blocks are there, and then up here is just, you know, the redstone dust on top. So this and these blocks up here I can get rid of. But then I was thinking, the way this works is it sends the signal down. Then underground, I don't know if you remember, but it has... Oh, and I just ruined it. Well, I may have made some parts I didn't need to. But it has a comparator fade down counter that, you know, kind of is a timer. And so every so often it will create a new one as long as the signal's on. And then as those new parts go over there, it will, I mean, then they kind of go slowly on the rollers. So as the new parts come over, the whatever pulse piston is matching the hopper that wanted them, it pops it over. Well, my idea was, right now I've got a stash of gears here, stash of gears here, stash of gears here, gears here, gears here, gears here. So I've got a whole bunch of gears, and I really only need one stash. I have one machine making them, and I only have one stash to, you know, I can only have, if I only have one stash of gears, then that's fine. So then I would make this so that whenever it needs a part, it would pulse and say, hey, I need a part, or something like that. So my idea was similar to the way, and I think it's underneath the ground here, but I've got the power for my magnetizer is a couple observers just pointing into each other. If we look on the side, we can see that they're kind of observing each other there. So that gives a an on-off pulsing thing for the magnetizer, so it works just fine. I don't have to do anything special to it. It just kind of does it itself. Oh, yeah, right. But my idea was, if I have a single stash of gears, then I can have, so say here, well, not there. So I have the gears, and if I just have, a double chest somewhere, and then the gears, as they're made in the metal cutter, I think, yeah, I put iron in the metal cutter and it makes a gear. So whatever's making the gears was this metal cutter here. I just have it export whatever it does into the stash, and then whenever a machine needs it, it pulses something else that says, hey, give me a gear. And so instead of a single redstone line down there, we could use, well, I mean, we could still use redstone line, but if we use powered rails, then we could have the signal, it's easier to put two powered rails next to each other and have them kind of repeater that way. And so my idea was having that, and then using the powered rails as my redstone signals is, oh, I need something from over there over here, and then it would just send the signal that says, hey, I need this. So whenever I need a gear, it would pulse over here to the stash, and then he would just spit them out as they're going. And yeah, they'd circle around or whatever, but then once it came back around, there would be, the pulse piston over here that says, okay, if I ever see a gear go by, I'm just going to spit it in. And then, so if we have extras, it's just going to come back. And then I could have a comparator on a double chest that says, hey, when you get down low enough, then just make a bunch more, so that it kind of makes them in batches rather than one at a time and then always an extra one. So that's what it's been doing, is it seems like it always makes an extra one. So I think I've been cleaning them up mostly. But yeah, I've got 2 extra cutting blades here just because it's been making extras for the parts here. So I'll probably change these to go down because I think this circuit's still going to be the same. So I'll change all of these and then change the timers underneath and the setups. Well, because these actually, because this says I need gears and saw blade. I put in some tempered saw blades. This is actually using the regular, that's why they're not going in. But yeah, so I wanted to, these rollers are, now that they push the players around, it's in a way it's kind of annoying that they grab you. But anyways, yeah, I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with my stashes and stuff, and then when I've got that done, I will be back. So see you in a sec. Okay, so you know how I said that I would change everything around and get it the new setup I had over here, and then I'd figure out what I was gonna do with the buffers. I changed my mind. So here's what my thoughts are. So I wanted to have these machines. I mean, I have 2 of these, and in a way I'm like, why do I have 2? So the grindstone does grindstone-y things, and I'm fine having 2. I can have them next to each other and they just kind of do the same thing. So I can have parts come in the back or the bottom as the newer versions want, but I like putting them in the back, and for reasons I'll explain over there. So putting them in the back and then just having maybe a hopper on top or something that manually puts the things in, and then we can put the crate next to it to pick up the broken parts and stuff. Yeah, so I took down all the conveyor, or the transport rollers, and then I was gonna set up yeah, here's all the parts that I had backed up in hoppers. So quite the bunch of things. But here's another gripe I have. Okay, each of these has a piece of dirt in there, except for this one has 2, and the reason is the buffer crate acts like a crate but will always keep 1 in there. So if I pull out of the buffer crate, I can show you real quick if I so it pulled 1 out, but it always keeps the 1 in there. So that's the advantage of the buffer crates over the crates. But they don't work with redstone comparators. They just don't. So whether you have something in there or not, the comparator does not work with the crates at all. Now it works with the chest. I mean, that's vanilla mechanics. And the comparators will work with these, but they output a signal if it doesn't have any parts and the part in here is broken. So only if, and I can, like if I break this and then plop it back down, see, now it outputs a signal because it's missing the part. But it's, yeah. So I'm a bit torn on this functionality But that one, it's just lazy. Make the crates output a redstone signal with a comparator. There's this, I mean, the intent here is I need a part, I have a redstone signal that I need the part. But it doesn't tell you which part it needs. So in a way it's not as helpful as you'd wish, and you're going to end up something like, you know, having a buffer crate that you just auto put stuff in, and which makes the getting the signal out of the machines kind of pointless anyways. So yeah, I don't think the comparator support for this mod is the way it should be. But let me set up these kind of how I want them. You know how I said that them being so tall was bugging me? Well, them being in there was bugging me too. So I wanted a way that, you know, have some open space in the middle and I could just run up, do my things. Because even though these are set up, I'm always over here doing these, and they don't have automatic part refill. And so what I do is like, oh, I need more gears. I'd come over here, grab gears from the hopper, and put them in here, knowing that the hopper gears would refill themselves. So in a way, I wasn't even using the automatic part resupply. So need to make a cow farm. So let me work on that, get it ready, and kind of show you the setup when I have at least a couple machines done. Alright, this is the setup I think I am happy with. So I've got my machines, and I might as well, I'll probably keep 2 of each one next to each other just so that you can do multiple. And then advantage of having a side open here is I can put a hopper on the side and then just say, oh, I want to do a whole bunch of one item. I can just put that in the hopper and it'll just, you know, auto feed it in. Now it's not automatically pulling it out. I mean, I could do that with the auto ejector or something like that, where I set up the ejector in the front and then have the chest it dumps its items into. But for now, kind of a manual process of putting the things in and pulling them out is fine. I probably will get the automatic ejection set up for it anyways, but I might want to have that being pulled out of the bottom and then somehow being routed back up to the top here. So like there'd be a chest here or something of the outputs. Yeah, so I've got the broken parts in here, and then the way I have this set up is these hoppers have a bunch of shovels, so there's only one stack here, and I use shovels because then it says unstackable item means that I can have a redstone block here with the comparator in compare mode, and it will only output a signal if this inventory here is full. So 4 gears is a full stack, and then each shovel is a full stack. So this hopper is full. So the signal I'm getting off of it, we check, is at, you know, power level 15. And so with the redstone block, I mean, that's a power 15 as well. That this is only powered when this is full. So then I, you know, invert the signal, run it to a lamp. So as soon as I pull one of these parts out, it turns a lamp on that says, hey, you need to put in more gears. And so I just put in more, the light turns off. Now the idea is I'd have a whole bunch backed up here, so I really wouldn't have to worry about it. But just as I'm, you know, running around doing things, I'm like, oh, that light's on. I can immediately look underneath and see what part I need to make, and, you know, get all the stuff ready for it and get it going. So that's that. I will set up the sawmills. Remember, I've got the second one over here, so I'll get 2 sawmills set up very similarly. And then I'll probably see I have extra grindstone cutting machine here. I'll probably set up a couple grinders, a couple furnaces, and then have their parts done similarly. The centrifuges, we've got 3 sets of parts each. So that might complicate things a bit more with the hoppers, but oh yeah, and these hoppers here, since they've got the 2, put both of those in. Now it's not doing any sort of like automatic locking thing. I could put could support that, so just have like a repeater off of this that powers up something here that we have like a hopper or something that we're using to auto feed the items in. We can kind of turn it off or something. I don't know, but that's that. So I'll get those other ones set up, and but there's another thing I wanted to do in this episode. It's going to take a bit of prep, and so I'm going to cut and then come back and get that, show you what it is. No spoilers. Alright, I'm back, and I got this set up over here. I was debating of doing that, and I think I want to do a couple other things first. So let me show you how I got this. So these setups are very, very similar to before, but this one is an auto crafting setup, and it's crafting the advanced motors. So we've got the redstone, the wires, nuggets, similar setup back here. Then I have the stack mover to move the stacks out and into here. I realize that's probably actually better than doing it with the rollers and the insertion hatch, just because if this gets full, then they kind of back up down there, and yeah, can cause problems with them either despawning or causing lags because they're entities that just are sitting there. So I have the stack mover. It needs a redstone signal in order to move a stack. So that's what the button on here is. And then I got tired of pushing it, so I have underneath a little observer set up. So right now the piston is pushing the observer over here, but as soon as I pull this out, then the observer is under here pulsing. But I mean, it's full, so it's not doing anything. So that's basically fill this full. Mode is just turn the lever on. Okay, did get some cows. I made a nice little pen for them, and they're happy. Look at them, they're happy. They don't mind that there's not very many blocks of space. They're happy. Speaking of which, it's time to breed them again. Who wants to be the happy couple? You're the happy couple. I don't know if you're the baby from before, but I'm just saying you were. And I know I was fighting some monsters and my helmet broke. So I'm like, I should make the helmet, the armor from the mod, because I mean I was using iron armor, and it's iron armor strength anyway, so +2 armor, +2 armor. So the hard hat, the leggings, little boots, and that actually upgrades it, so from +1 to +2, so that's the same as iron boots. And then the vest needed some dye. I mean, most of this what it is just dye. Oh, that's not it. Up here? No. What's the recipe? Glowstone. Oh, well. Well. I should have some over here. I'm like, I should have known. Here, recipe uses. There. Apparently I made some dye and I didn't need to. Okay, so let's take this off. See how I look. Wow. That's actually not too bad. Well, alright, that's kind of entertaining. Okay, so the one thing that I wanted to do, that I said no spoilers, is work on the fluid extraction drill. So you need some nickel, a drill bit, a pipe, advanced motor. The pipe is just simple copper. So we've got some copper, nickel, we need a drill bit, and what else? The motor. There, motor. And what are we missing? Is that all? Oh, the pipe. That's right. So the pipes, some of the uses on this is you can use different, a whole bunch of different things, and then you can use them with the. There's a fluid. This gun, the extraction pump. You can use that, and then in the world you put this somewhere, and then use the pipes to pipe it around. So that's pretty neat. We'll probably end up using that because this collects the fluid in it, and we need to pull it out. So we're going to end up wanting to make one of those as it is already. Need a piston. Uses on the pipes. Yeah. Okay. So this fluid extraction drill, it does depend where in the world you place it, of what fluid it will get. It's either sulfur or I forget the other one. It says in here. So machine info, next page. Fluid drill, sulfur or propane, yeah. And then you can use a propane. There's a propane furnace that it's like the electrical furnace, this guy, but runs on propane instead. Alright, so we are going to, let's put it over here. If we hit F3G, we can see our chunk boundaries. Oh, I'm right on one. So in this corner, plop it down, and it says sulfur. So 49 millibuckets per operation. If we pick it up, pull it in this chunk over here, so you want propane at 11. Then run over here. Sulfur at 93. So I'll probably just run around the local area here and find what is the best chunk for pulling out sulfur in, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I found a chunk that is pretty good for sulfur. It's 190 millibuckets per operation. So I brought the parts so that we could start going. And you see it's pulling in the sulfur. So what we do now is I made a tank. Remember, it's pipe, iron, and then the extraction pump, which is nickel piston in the pipe. So let's get these here. Now, the one thing I had a question on the tanks is if they retain inventory. I wasn't sure, so I figured I would test it to be sure. We don't need these anymore, I guess. So, if I get some water and I stick it in there, Oh, there's no interface. Even the tooltip at the top doesn't tell me how much fluid's in there. Maybe that's an add-on to that I didn't do. Well, I know if I have fluid in there, I can bucket it out. No, it's not letting me. So just to make sure I can bucket the fluid out. Yeah. Okay, so breaking the tank does not retain the fluid. What I wanted to know. So, which means we're going to need to get the fluid over here to use it over here. Can be stacked or used for manual I/O. Can be stacked. Does that mean... Well, I want to do this. That's the wrong way. And then some pipes. So this should now... Yeah, so this should be filling up with sulfur. So then I can take this sulfur and put it into... oh, and the reason I was wanting is because there's those ore chunks, right? These ones. So if I grind them down, I get the ground ore chunks. And then in the electroplater, you can use the sulfuric acid, and it will either give you 2 copper or 1 gold. And I think this is an either or, so it kind of randomly picks between the two. So that's what I wanted here. We're spitting the things out. I need a crate. Let me get a crate real quick. That will prevent... Don't have another crate in there. Got sticks. Oh, and I got planks. Great. They'll prevent these parts from spitting out into the world. Threaded motor there. Alright, well let's put this here so that I can put the parts in here. Okay. Whoa. Not what I wanted. Now if I remember in the Modern Skyblock 3, these would hold 16 buckets. So that's what I'm presuming. It's 16 buckets. So and then is there... Okay, that's not... Yeah, so far I've been just doing this ferrous, and then you get the iron and the nickel. But if we do the electroplater, we can get gold and copper as well. So currently, the only main automated source of copper I have is the river grates. But with this now, we can do the other. So, hope you enjoyed this episode. I had fun recording it. The setup change I did, it seems simpler. It's a bit more manual and less automatic. I don't know if that's what I want or not, but I might end up getting the conveyor belt to pass around the parts to put them into the chests, or get the outputs and put them into central storage or something. But in the meantime, leave a like if you like the episode, and comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.